Thank you for hanging out with me today. About a year ago, I made a journal called a Never Ending Tag Journal, and you guys seem to like that a lot. It was kind of complicated to make. As long as you were organized, it was okay, but I felt that there had to be an easier way to make one. So I thought about it, and I've come up with this smaller version that I hope will be a little bit easier. So let me just walk you through this one. So on the front, and these are all made with 6x6 paper pads, and the tags were just the 6x6 cut in half to make a 6x3, and then I cut them into little tag shapes and rounded the bottom corners. So on the front here, we have a piece of vintage book page, a little fussy cut bird, a label, and a little bling there. And when you open it up, we have a pocket on the inside with a tag made from the scraps of the paper pad, and I backed all of them with coffee dyed paper. The pockets are all made from the same paper pad, and this is just a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera that you will see throughout the journal. And the signature is 3 sheets of coffee dyed paper. I did not decorate them except for the front of each signature. Cut it down to size. And these are just scraps of either coffee dyed paper or book page that you tear off the edges and then stamped. And then I inked around the edge. So I think they are really cute. And then the next tag, I have a pocket here with some lace. This is another little stamped piece on handmade paper, and it was backed on a piece of scrap from the paper pad. Another Tim Holtz tag made from the paper pad, and it's just a piece of book page. And I have a little scrap of cheesecloth behind this with some lace. Okay, on this side we have a little side tuck with lace and a little bit of bling. It's a journaling card. And again, all of this is cut from the same paper pad. Okay. Here's another piece of that stamped piece. This is a piece of vintage ledger paper. It's a piece of ribbon on the bottom with some bling. And then we have this, and I just put some stickers on there to decorate that up a little bit, and a piece of scrap ribbon at the top. And here we have a tag sticker. And this is a piece of coffee dyed paper, and I just folded it in half and glued around 3 sides to make a pocket in the back, and that gives you some extra journaling space. Another little stamped piece. Here we have a corner tuck with this tag in there, and I just cut an oval in there and put a sticker behind it and backed it with coffee dyed paper. Okay, some lace and some rhinestones across the top there. Okay, on here we have another tag, and I just tied it with some jute at the top. Another piece of Tim Holtz ephemera, and then some trim here. And I get this trim at Dollar Tree, and it's so pretty. Here we go again with the stamp piece, and then this is the back. Another little journaling card. Also from Tim Holtz. And then some lace and some bling here, and then the number 54, 54th journal that I made. So then we get to the back of the journal. Okay, and there's a little fussy cut hummingbird on the back. And we open it up. And this is an embossed piece of the inside of a tea bag. Let me see if I have a piece. So here's a tea bag. On the inside is foil. And then when you open this up, I just run it through the embossing folder, and then I cut it out with a butterfly punch that I have. And behind it is just a piece of scrap of doily. And then I put some bling down the center. I think it's really cute. Another stamped piece there. A little cluster. There's a little belly band made with a piece of trim. And this is a little wax seal sticker. I think I got those from Amazon. Another signature with a stamp piece. A little cluster here, cheesecloth. And this is a piece of scrap lace with the oval that I cut out of that other tag, and a little bling there. Another signature. And this is just a little cluster with a little 3D butterfly. And now we're back to the beginning of the journal. And this was a much easier way to make this than the other one, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let me get set up for that, and we'll be right back. Okay, I've chosen this 6x6 paper pad, and it's called Catherine, and it has some foily bits in there too. It's really pretty, all purples. So what I did was went through the entire book, and I picked 8 sheets that I wanted to use for my tag fronts, and then some somewhat neutrally pages for my tag backs. Okay, so I'm simply going to cut these in half, all of them. Cut tag shapes out of the top. Before I cut the tag shape, though, I'm going to back them on a piece of cardstock. This is just 65-pound weight cardstock. It just gives a little bit extra sturdiness. So once these are cut in half, then I will glue to the cardstock, trim it out, cut my tag shapes, and ink around them, and then that's how I'll do each of the 8 tags for the front and the back. So you do need some 65-pound cardstock. All right, so there's that. And then I'm gonna post this on Ko-fi, and it'll be free. But it's just a diagram to try to keep you organized. So what we have here is a picture of 8 tags. This representing the front cover, or this tag right here. And you can work any way you want to. My brain maybe is a little bit strange, but for the front, these are all tag fronts, or tag fronts and tag backs. You're going to alternate. So I start from the right-hand side and work my way this way. Then I flip the whole thing over horizontally, and then I start from here and go back this way. And this is just one strip of fabric that you're gonna glue all of the tags to. I used this. Actually, that's on the background is the fabric that I used, coffee dyed linen, because it looks the same on the front and the back. I needed to just use one piece, and I believe I cut that to about 28 or 29 inch length. You'll have extra hanging out over here, and you can just trim those off once you do both sections of your tags. And I cut that to, let's see, and if you're using 6x6 papers too, I cut my strip to a little bit shy of 5.5 inches. In essence, it's from the corner of the tag right here to almost the bottom of the tag. And I wouldn't make it any longer than that. Okay? All right. So if you're using printed fabric, if it's not double-sided, you're going to have to cut to 2 strips and put them together side by side, or on top of each other, so that no matter which way you're flipping through, you have fabric that is printed and you can see it on the outside. I hope that makes sense. Another fabric that you can use is homespun, because that's going to look the same on the front and the back, and therefore you only need one piece. Okay, so I'm going to go cut out all of my tags. Let me do one for you so you can see what I'm doing. I'm simply going to cut this at 3 inches. And put this aside. You can make a duplicate journal with that. I'm going to glue it down to a piece of cardstock. And if you want to, you can also sew around the edges. I did that just because I like the look, but as long as you glue well, you don't even have to do that part. But I did not sew until the whole thing had been put together. And I think it's small enough that you can easily maneuver it under a sewing machine. But again, you don't have to. Okay, I'm going to trim this off. Going to cut our tag shape, and you can use a store card, or if you have a punch, you can use that. I'm going to use the punch just because it's easier. And should wait till the glue dries, but I never do. And then quarter round. And I'm using the smallest one. Those corners. And then set that aside to dry, and then you can go back and ink it if you want to do that. So you're going to do that a total of 16 times, 8 tag fronts and 8 tag backs. All right, so I'm going to do that off camera, and we'll come back and I'll show you how to assemble the journal. I've cut out all of my tags. They have been backed with the cardstock, and they have been inked. I used Dusty Concord. I very seldom ever use these colored inks, but I thought I would do it this time. These are my tag fronts, and I call them my fronts just because they have a lot of pretty print on them. This is my backs, and these are very neutral in case people want extra space to journal on. So, and keep those separated. And I'll put this over here for reference. And then I have my piece of fabric. Now, this is where the process changes. In my other video, and I think I said I'll link that below, I used strips that were about 1.5 inches to 2 inches wide, and they were glued to the backs of the tags. This is an entire piece of fabric, and we'll place the tags on top. We'll flip it over and place the rest of the tags on there. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to start with my tag front here on the right hand side and work my way left. And then I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to put the tags down on the back. You don't have to do it in the order that I'm doing in. This diagram will help you either way. If you don't want to do 8 tags, maybe you want to do 7, so take these 2 off. Or if you want to just do 6, take these 2, but always take them from this side. Okay? I'll go ahead and put this aside, lay my piece of fabric out. This is more than I need. It's about 29 to 30 inches. And like we said, I'm going to start, I'll put the diagram over here so we can kind of see it in the background. All right, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to work my way to the left. So I'm going to take a tag front. This is what I've chosen to be my front. And we're just going to glue it down. And you can see that this piece of fabric is about the size of my tag from here to here. So I'm going to glue, and I'm going to use Fabri-Tac will work. And we're just going to glue. And I'm not going to do all 16 of these on. I'll speed it up a little bit. But we'll do the first couple. Put something under here to protect my mat. And you just want to leave a little extra piece there on the end. We'll remove that later. Okay. Just press that down really good. Okay. And then the diagram then shows that we're going to put a tag back. So I'm going to get a tag back. And I'm going to lay that one down right here. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space. It's probably 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit less in between. And this will help the journal fold. So go ahead and lay that down. Oops. And I am going to sew around these so I don't have to go crazy with the glue. But if you're not going to sew, make sure you've got plenty of glue on there. Okay, press that down really good. I've got some fuzz on here. I'm going to take that off. All right. Now we're going to a tag front. I have 3 of these tags that I started out with. What did I start out with? Seedless preserves, and it was way too purple. So I switched over to the Dusty Concordeds. But I have to go ahead and use these. Okay, so we've done this tag, and this tag. So now it's time to put in a tag back. And you can see it's alternating tag front, tag back. And we'll do that all the way across until we lay down 8 of these. So I'm going to speed this up now and let you watch. Okay, I've got the first 8 tags put down. All right, you can see we have some extra fabric over here. I'm just going to go ahead and trim some of that off. All right, and we're going to flip it horizontally. Now we're on this row here, and I'm going to start here. This actually is my tag front, or this tag right here. So this is calling for a tag back. Glue it down the same way, except now we want to make sure we have our tags aligned, front and back, which is not difficult to do. Line that up, turn it over, and make sure it lined up over here. And that looks pretty good. So our next tag is a tag front. And if you don't want to have a distinction between a tag front and a tag back, then You don't need to worry about all this. You just lay them down in whatever order you choose. Line that up. Turn it over. Make sure it looks good on that side. Give it a good press. Okay. Now we're going to do a tag back. Okay, so here we are at our last tag, and it is a tag front. And I don't know if I mentioned this before. You'll notice that I have inked on the back, and you're probably asking why that's not going to show. And the only reason I do that is to make sure that I get rid of all of the white core from the cardstock, and this really helps to do that. You don't have to do it. It's just something I like to do. All right, so let's get this glued down. And so the next thing will be to take this to the sewing machine and sew all the way around each one of the tags. And we'll go ahead and trim this excess fabric off. We do not need it. Get as close as you can. It doesn't matter if a little bit is left showing. Okay, here we are back to the front of the journal. Let me get this cut off. So I'm going to give this a couple minutes to dry, and then I'm going to simply sew around each one of the tags, and then we'll come back. All right, everything is sewn up. This looks really cute, and it's very sturdy. This goes back the other way. Now, I will decorate the front with you and put on the eyelet and some silk seam binding. But one thing I want to mention, you don't have to do this. For some reason on the back sides of the tag, so I sewed on this side only, facing up. On the back side, you can get some like really big puckers and things like that. If I can find my bone folder. So in that case, just go along on the back side, the bobbin side, and then just run your bone folder or the handle of your scissors across there, and it'll help lay some of that down. Again, it's not necessary. It's just something I like to do. All right, so there's the front, and it folds up accordion style like this. That's what it looks like right there. Right there. Okay, this is our front. So I grabbed a couple of little pieces to decorate the front with. Here's the other one, just for reference. So I've got a piece of old book page that I inked around. Got a little fuzzy cut hummingbird. A little label. I think this is Tim Holtz. And then a little stamped piece of book page. And I think that looks good. All right, so let's go ahead and get those pieces laid down. These are great if you want to give us, you know, a small gift. They come together pretty quickly. Once you do all the prep work, cutting out your tags and backing them and inking them and getting you a piece of fabric, it goes down pretty quickly. All right. I tore that kind of crooked, so I want to make sure my text is going straight across vertically. All right, and put the little bird down. Just going to put him down partially right there. Anyway, if you go back and you look at my older video, I'm using full-size pages and strips of fabric to bind the tags together. And I found this way to be a lot less complicated. And the little journal comes together quicker. Okay. Put this right here. And let's go ahead and put a little shiny bling on there too. I am a gluey mess. Let's put that right there. And I think that is so cute. All right, let's put an eyelet in here. I think I'm just going to go with gold. No, let's see. This got a lot of silver in it. Maybe we'll stick with silver. Yeah. I'm going to find the middle. It's about right there. I'm going to make a little pencil mark. And I'm going to have to make that a tiny bit bigger. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay, I think that looks really nice. Now let me get a piece of seam binding. got that. Oh dear, that's going to be hard. And pink, I don't think I want to do pink. I think I like that one better. So we want to make sure that we cut a piece that's big enough that one end of it will wrap around the journal and come back and tie here. So I'm just going to hold this here, see how much. Yeah, I think that will work really well. So I'm going to cut this about right there. Pinch this up right here so I can put it through the eyelet. Pull that through. And then you want to take your longer piece and wrap it around the front. And then this will tie, and you got plenty of string. So here you go. Here's one that's filled, and here's one that isn't. So it's quite a difference. But it's not heavy. All right. So the next thing that I would do is to begin to sew signatures in each one of these little places here. And so we've got 8 tags, which means you'll have 7 of these sections. And in the other one that we did the flip through on, I only used 3 pieces of coffee dyed paper that I cut to fit comfortably inside here. All right. I've already cut my holes, but all you need to do, and there are plenty of videos out there for this. I took a piece of scrap, folded it in half, and it's the same, make sure that it's the same length of your signature page. Folded it in half this way, folded it in half this way, folded this end up, this end, and then I just inked this so you could see. And where these 2 lines meet in the middle, that's where you want to put your holes for your signature. And I've already done that with this. So I'm going to sew one signature in for you. Not all 7. 2, 3 times the length, which is way more than you need. And let me just give you the measurements of my paper here. It is looks like 5 7/8 by 5 inches tall. So 5 inches tall by 5 7/8. You cut yours to fit however you want to. This could have actually been a little bit taller, but this was scrap that I had, and I just used it so that I could not have to cut any more. So let's go ahead and sew this in. I'm going to go in through them. And first of all, you also have to make the holes in this little hingey part right here too. Okay, so I'm going to poke this through and make sure I'm kind of going through the middle there. So I'm going to stick that through the middle. Go through the middle here. And I'm going to come down here. Of course, I can't see my hole. Let me go ahead and poke. Get you all back again. I can see that my hole is right here. Line that up. And then I'm just going to make a little reference hole right there. And one right there. See if I can see it this time. Yep, there it is right there. We're going to go in through there. Going through the bottom hole of my signature. I typically do not sew in signatures on camera because of this very thing. I see some people doing it and I'm like, and they just zoom, 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 and it's done. And I'm like, how do they do that? The struggle is real. Part of the problem is I don't think I have this hole big enough. Let me just re-poke it. There we go. Bring that all the way through. Make sure you leave yourself plenty of tail here on the inside. Now we want to go back up to the hole at the top. Stick it in there. Go back through the middle hole. Okay, and we want to gently pull those strings tight, and we want one on this side of the string and one on that side of the string. And I just kind of pull it in opposite directions. You want to check to make sure they're fairly tight on the outside. And then just tie a double knot. And then you can leave these and put dangles. I'm going to trim mine off short. So you need to do that 6 more times. All right, guys, if the tutorial today was just about how to put the base together. It's super easy. Like I said, you just need to get yourself organized. And then you can rock and roll putting this thing together. And I hope that the flip through of the first journal gave you some ideas on how to decorate. You're going to make all of your pockets from the 6x6 paper pad. Let me go get that again. It's called Catherine. It was 40% off of this price. And all I did was simply cut each sheet in half. Give it a little tag shape. Rounded the bottom corners and backed it with 65-pound cardstock. And then glued it down to the piece of fabric that we had. I used coffee dyed linen. You can use whatever makes you happy. So I will encourage you to go back and look at the other one. That might be your preferred way of putting one together. I found this to be a lot simpler. And having a guide so that you don't get confused, I thought was very helpful too. I'm going to put this on Ko-fi. It'll be a free download. This journal will also be out there for sale. And when I finish this one, I'll put it out for sale as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have any questions at all about anything you saw me do, please reach out to me in the comment section below and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a blessed day. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.